Have you ever noticed how one tiny thought, one small shift in focus, can completely change the trajectory of your day, your decisions, even your life? Maybe it starts with a sudden idea, a question, or a realization that seems almost trivial at first, and yet the consequences ripple outward in ways you never expected. What if I told you that this is not luck, not coincidence, and not something only special people experience? It's a principle rooted in the deepest layers of reality, a principle that science and mysticism have both been pointing to for centuries. Focus determines experience. Quantum physics shows us that reality exists in a state of infinite potential until it is observed. A particle doesn't choose a position until it is noticed. The very act of observation collapses possibility into existence. Now scale that up. Your consciousness operates in a similar way. Thoughts, attention, and awareness are not passive. They shape the probabilities of what you experience. In other words, where you put your focus doesn't just affect your perception, it influences the unfolding of reality itself. Here's a simple way to grasp this. Imagine life as a vast, multidimensional map of possibilities. Every thought, feeling, or intention is like a spotlight illuminating a pathway. Most people wander around with flickering flashlights, focusing on worries, distractions, and repetition, barely noticing that the map is filled with options they never considered. But the moment you intentionally shift your focus, even slightly, new pathways appear. Opportunities, insights, and connections that were invisible before suddenly become tangible. That one small shift, repeated, compounds, and opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not just theory. Neuroscience backs this up. Your brain constantly filters sensory input and reinforces patterns based on attention. Repeated focus strengthens neural pathways, shaping perception and behavior. Combine this with the quantum principle of observation, and you begin to see the extraordinary. Your focus is both a biological and quantum instrument of creation. Every conscious moment is a chance to collapse possibilities into a reality that reflects the alignment of your attention. So how do you apply this in practical, real-world terms? First, notice where your attention is currently directed. Are you focused on problems, fears, or frustrations? Or are you allowing your mind to explore possibilities, options, and potential solutions? Most people operate unconsciously, letting habitual focus reinforce limitations. The first step to opening infinite possibilities is awareness. Recognize where your mind lingers, and then deliberately pivot. That's the one shift, the adjustment of focus, that has the potential to create exponential change. Here's a simple exercise you can try immediately. Take a problem or area of your life that feels stuck. Spend 30 seconds observing your current focus. Where are you dwelling mentally? Then consciously choose a new point of focus, something that expands rather than contracts, something that feels possible, intriguing, or inspiring. Hold that focus for a few moments, let yourself feel the energy of it, and notice any subtle shifts in perception, mood, or insight. You are, in essence, collapsing a new probability into presence. And here's the beauty of it. This shift doesn't have to be dramatic. Often the most powerful changes begin with tiny, almost imperceptible adjustments in attention. A slight curiosity, a fleeting question, a deliberate glance toward what could work instead of what is broken. These small pivots create ripples across your life. Over time, they accumulate, guiding you toward solutions, opportunities, and relationships that would have been invisible before. That's the hidden power of focus. Infinite possibilities emerge from even a single, conscious adjustment. Humorously, it's also worth noting that the universe seems to enjoy irony. You'll often find that the first time you try to shift your attention intentionally, life responds in ways you didn't anticipate. Sometimes in delightful ways, sometimes in ways that make you laugh at your own assumptions. But that's part of the learning curve. The principle remains. Your focus shapes probability, your awareness collapses possibility, and your choices steer experience. Now consider the bigger picture. Most people spend decades reinforcing old mental patterns without ever noticing that attention itself is the lever of creation. By consciously choosing focus, You are not merely reacting. You are participating in the unfolding of reality. You are turning the invisible threads of possibility into tangible experience. And the moment you see this, you realize something remarkable. The doors you thought were closed were never locked. You simply hadn't shifted your focus to notice them. So, as a next step, I want you to experiment consciously. For the next hour, notice your focus in 3 key moments. Catch yourself when your attention drifts toward limitation, distraction, or fear. Gently pivot to a possibility, an option, or a moment of curiosity. Observe the subtle shifts in perception, mood, or opportunity. These micro-adjustments, repeated over time, compound into a life where you're no longer confined by old habits, assumptions, or reactive thinking. You begin to see that infinite possibilities are not abstract. They are accessible to anyone willing to notice them and shift their focus. And before we continue, if this resonates, subscribing is more than a click. It's a commitment to exploring these principles alongside a community that is learning to collapse possibility into presence. There's more ahead, subtle practices, hidden patterns, and exercises that make this shift in focus not just a momentary hack, but a lifestyle that transforms the way you navigate reality. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the mechanics of this shift, explore why mainstream thinking suppresses awareness of these patterns, and reveal how you can consistently leverage focus to expand your reality in every area: relationships, health, creativity, and opportunity. The journey from noticing to mastery is both simple and astonishing, and it begins with this single conscious pivot. Now that you've seen how a simple shift in focus can open new pathways, it's time to explore why this works so profoundly, and how to make it a consistent, practical tool. Because here's the thing, most people think change requires huge effort, dramatic action, or perfect conditions. But reality doesn't operate that way. Quantum principles, neuroscience, and centuries of mystical insight all point to the same truth. Small, deliberate adjustments in attention create outsized results. Let's unpack this. In quantum physics, the act of observation doesn't just record reality, it participates in shaping it. Particles exist as probabilities until they are noticed. Your mind works similarly. Thoughts, habits, and mental loops exist in a landscape of potential until you bring awareness to them. Observation collapses one possibility into the actual experience. That's why a small pivot in focus, what you attend to, how you frame a thought, where your curiosity lands, can feel almost miraculous. It's not magic. It's a natural property of consciousness interacting with reality. Neuroscience adds a second layer. Your brain is a dynamic, plastic network that strengthens pathways through repetition. Old habits, fears, and self-limiting beliefs have been reinforced for years, sometimes decades. But the very same neural architecture allows for rapid change when attention is deliberately redirected. By noticing a pattern and shifting focus, you weaken old loops while strengthening new pathways. Over time, what once required effort becomes automatic. Your attention literally rewires your mind. Here's how to put this into practice immediately. Start by identifying one area of your life that feels constrained, a relationship, a creative project, or a persistent worry. Observe the current focus. What are you dwelling on, replaying, or resisting? Don't judge it, just notice. Then choose one small, coherent pivot in attention. It could be reframing a worry as curiosity, viewing a challenge as opportunity, or focusing on a micro-action rather than an overwhelming goal. Hold that pivot in your awareness for a few moments and notice any subtle shifts in perception, emotion, or energy. You are, in that moment, collapsing a new probability into presence. The brilliance of this method is in its simplicity. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need long meditations or complex exercises. Just a few intentional pivots in focus throughout the day can create a cascade of change. Think of it as adjusting the lens on a camera. Small tweaks yield dramatically different perspectives. Over time, those perspectives accumulate, opening new pathways that were invisible when your focus was scattered or unconscious. Now let's address a hidden layer most people never consider: Mainstream culture and education train attention toward limitation. Fear, distraction, and scarcity dominate what we notice, reinforcing loops that narrow possibilities. That's not an accident. It's a system that thrives on keeping attention scattered. Understanding this gives you a subtle but profound edge. By deliberately redirecting your focus, you step out of the patterns that limit perception and begin navigating a space where opportunities multiply naturally. You are, in effect, reclaiming the creative power of attention that has always been yours. Here's a practical daily routine to make this shift habitual. First thing in the morning, spend a few minutes scanning your thoughts and emotions. Notice where attention defaults, fears, worries, or familiar complaints. Then deliberately shift focus toward one coherent, expansive intention for the day. Hold it for a moment, feel it in your body, and carry it forward. Throughout the day, repeat this micro-practice whenever you notice old loops resurfacing. Over time, your default attention moves from reactive patterns to deliberate, possibility-oriented observation. And here's the subtle beauty. This shift in focus doesn't just change outcomes externally. It transforms identity. The self that is trapped in fear, doubt, or distraction begins to dissolve. In its place emerges a self that observes, chooses, and participates consciously. Suddenly, opportunities, solutions, and insights appear not because you force them, but because your attention has opened a channel for them. You are no longer the passenger of circumstance. You are the navigator, steering reality through conscious awareness. The quantum principle here is clear. Coherence creates possibility. Focused observation collapses infinite probabilities into a tangible reality. And when you consistently pair that observation with feeling, curiosity, excitement, gratitude, the effect multiplies. Feeling is the amplifier, attention is the lever, and together they transform not just your mind, but the way life responds to you. To give a real-world example, imagine someone struggling with a creative block. They keep thinking, "I'm stuck. I can't create." That thought loops endlessly, reinforcing neural pathways and limiting outcomes. By noticing the loop, acknowledging it without judgment, and shifting focus, perhaps asking, "What small step or idea can I explore right now?" They collapse the old probability of stagnation and open a new possibility. They take a micro-action, even just brainstorming for 5 minutes. Suddenly, the creative field responds, ideas flow, and what felt impossible begins to unfold naturally. One simple pivot in focus triggered a cascade of infinite possibilities. And humorously, the universe tends to respond in unexpected ways when you do this consistently. Doors open where none seem to exist, insights arrive from strange sources, and small coincidences align with uncanny precision. But the key is consistency, not expectation. The quantum principle doesn't guarantee a specific outcome. It guarantees that conscious, coherent focus organizes probabilities in your favor. By now, you can see the pattern emerging. Observe, pivot focus, pair with feeling, release attachment. Repeat. These steps are deceptively simple, but they leverage the mechanics of both mind and universe. The micro-adjustments of daily attention accumulate into transformation. Life begins to unfold not as a chaotic string of events, but as a responsive, coherent system that mirrors your consciousness. In the next and final part, we'll bring all of this together. We'll explore how to make this shift and focus a permanent lens through which you experience life, how it transforms relationships, creativity, health, and opportunity, and how it ultimately rewires identity so that infinite possibilities are not just potential, they are lived reality. We'll close with a cinematic, reflective ending designed to leave you inspired, aligned, and ready to collapse your own probabilities into presence. By now, you've practiced noticing mental loops, shifting focus, and pairing attention with feeling. You've seen how a single pivot can open doors that were invisible before, and you've glimpsed the extraordinary ripple effect that conscious focus can have on your life. But here's the next step. To turn this from an occasional hack into a way of living, a default lens through which you experience reality, and a tool for opening infinite possibilities at every moment. The first key is integration. You begin to see your life as a web of possibilities, and each shift in focus as a thread that can be tugged to realign outcomes. This is not about control, it's about participation. Observation, intention, and feeling are the levers. Coherence is the medium. The more consistently you practice, the more automatic it becomes. You notice your thoughts before they dominate, catch old loops before they spiral, and pivot attention toward possibilities instead of limitations. This is the art of navigating life consciously, moment by moment, thought by thought. As you continue, the quantum principle becomes tangible in daily life. Relationships improve because your attention tunes into connection, empathy, and understanding. Opportunities emerge because your mind notices possibilities that were invisible before. Creativity flows because attention is now aligned with curiosity rather than fear. Even your body responds. Energy, focus, and well-being shift as a natural result of coherent observation and emotional alignment. This is not coincidence. It's the consistent effect of collapsing probabilities into presence. And here's the subtle, almost magical dimension. Identity begins to transform. The self that was reactive, distracted, or fearful gradually dissolves, replaced by a self that observes, chooses, and participates consciously. You are no longer simply enduring life, you are co-creating it. Every thought, every pivot of focus, every moment of deliberate attention is both a signal and a shaping force in the unfolding of your reality. You realize that the limits you once believed were fixed were nothing more than habitual loops waiting to be interrupted. Here's a practice to solidify this transformation. Throughout your day, identify 3 moments to pause and check your focus. Notice the dominant thought or emotion. Ask yourself, where is my attention right now? Then deliberately pivot toward one coherent possibility, pairing it with feeling, curiosity, excitement, or gratitude. Observe what shifts. The way you perceive challenges, the opportunities you notice, the energy in your body. Over time, this practice rewires both mind and reality, opening a cascade of possibilities that would have been invisible without conscious focus. And humor is essential. Life has a playful, unpredictable rhythm. Sometimes, your pivot doesn't produce the expected result, or produces something even better. Other times, it's subtle, almost imperceptible. But with consistency, the universe begins to mirror your awareness. You start seeing patterns, synchronicities, and alignments that confirm one simple truth. Your focus is powerful. Your consciousness is active. Reality is responsive. Now let's bring it to the poetic, reflective level, the place where insight transforms into a deep, embodied knowing. Close your eyes for a moment and consider this. Every thought you've ever had, every mental loop, every fear, every moment of doubt, existed in a field of infinite possibility. And yet, by simply noticing, you collapse some of those probabilities into the life you have now. That same principle applies moving forward. By shifting attention even slightly, by pairing observation with intention and feeling, you unlock doors that have always been waiting for you. Infinite possibilities were never elsewhere. They've been within reach all along. This is liberation. It's the understanding that life is not a string of random events, but a responsive tapestry, one you are woven into as a conscious participant. Each day becomes a canvas where attention, intention, and feeling paint reality. The problems that once felt insurmountable, the habits that felt immutable, the limits you assumed were fixed, all of it softens under the power of conscious focus. And so, in this quiet, expansive space, you realize something profound. You do not need to chase possibility. You do not need to struggle to manifest it. You simply need to notice, to shift focus, to align with coherence, and allow reality to respond. That one shift, repeated, compounded, and lived moment by moment, opens the infinite. Life is no longer something that happens to you. It is something you participate in, co-create, and navigate with clarity and grace. Breathe and let it settle. Feel the infinite potential in every thought, every pivot, every choice. Recognize that your consciousness is not a spectator. It is a sculptor, a navigator, a lens through which reality crystallizes. And in that awareness, there is freedom, there is possibility, and there is a quiet joy that comes from knowing. You are awake, you are aligned, and you are actively opening doors that were always meant to be yours. The world may still surprise you. It may challenge you, delight you, and humble you in ways you cannot predict. But that is the beauty of infinite possibilities. They are alive, responsive, and endlessly creative. And you, simply by shifting focus, have stepped into the current, participating fully, consciously, and intentionally. You are not just observing the dance of reality. You are dancing with it, shaping it, and opening the infinite in every moment. And as the sun sets on this awareness, the mind quiets, and the heart expands, you realize all the infinite possibilities you seek are already present. They only needed one shift, a conscious, deliberate shift in focus, to be noticed, acknowledged, and invited into being. You've made that shift, and the rest is life unfolding.